Welcome everybody, the early birds. Still got another minute or so, so we'll wait. Welcome. Write your name. Just write in where you are, and just let us know that you're there. Everyone can see, because there's a lot of people. It looks like are coming today, B'ezrat Hashem. So just write in your name. Just tell us where you are. Everyone can see too. Okay. Hi staff. Hi Shmuel. I don't have a camera and mic on my desk. That's fine. This is not going to be a. It's not going to be an interactive, as in you're going to be able to write, but there's too many people doing it with video. So Rifki, sorry that we're not going to let you in. Hi Lana from New Jersey. Right, I'll try logging in for my phone. Okay. Miri from Yerushalayim. Is that you, Miri Homer? Esty from Chicago. Hi. Shoshana. Wow, loads of people. How exciting. Hi, Malka. How you doing? Hi, Dennis. Hi, Tobo Rifka. Lots of familiar names. Hi, Elisheva. Goldie, how you doing? Oh. Yocheved, Miriam. Well, okay. Everyone's coming in. We've got New York, Manchester, Muncie. Really on edge. So excited, Malky. I bet you're not as really on edge as I am. Bob, hello from my basement. I'm also in my basement. Yocheved, Joseph. How you doing, Yocheved? Well, there's people from all over. Yeah. I think we've got 4 or 5. Not all over. We've got Israel. We've got America. We've got Canada. We've got different places in Europe, probably from Australia, a couple. Okay. That's my pleasure, Elisheva. Okay, Etty from Passaic. Okay, loads of people here, basically. We had about 300 people sign up, which is amazing. I can't believe people are so interested in hearing me speak, but that's how it is, I suppose. So I wanted to, the first thing is, we've got my little sister who is, oh, I didn't accept her. My little sister is going to be running this with me. Rivka and Josh are in the middle of this really traumatic move right now, and they just had a baby as well a couple of weeks ago. So they're really out of action. They're very upset they couldn't do it, but my amazing little sister has said she'll step in and help moderate a little bit. One second. Just want to make sure that she does come through. Joe, are you there? Okay, so in the meantime, hopefully my little sister should come through. It'd be fun if she doesn't. Okay. So I just want everyone, please just do me a favor. Josh and Rivka can't make it, and I know that everyone loves them dearly, how much they help us all. So just give a big heads up, and a big thumbs up, and a big thank you if you can. Just they'll see all these messages. They're going to see that. Oh, Joe is here. And they'll sit. So just throw out your thanks, because I'm so grateful to them. I just wanted to say publicly how to have 2 people who are into your business as much as you are is amazing, and they help us all so much, and it's just a big thank you to Josh and Rivka. We appreciate you so much, on behalf of me and on behalf of, I think, all of our students as well. Okay, so this webinar we're doing for free, and we are planning on doing a webinar bi-weekly from here. So next 2 weeks we're going to do another webinar. We're going to ask you for feedback, please, as a kind of payment. If you want to think of that, please be generous with your time in giving us feedback, because we want to make this we really want to make this as special for you as possible. We want to maximize our time. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you guys, I really appreciate this. Thank you for giving Josh and Rivka a big thumbs up, because they really deserve it. Okay, so the program's as follows. We're not going to have enough time to do what I want to do, but we're going to give it a shot. But I don't want to miss out on the the learning experience at the expense of punching a clock. So we're going to try and stick to the clock. And if we don't, we don't, okay? And no one's going to be upset, and we're all just going to keep smiling and keep moving forward. Okay, the first part of the class, we're going to critique and edit some pictures. Loads of people have uploaded pictures, a lot of pictures. I'm still waiting for my little sister to show up. 1 second. Everybody's still pouring out their love for Josh and Rivka. That's great. I should maybe phone her. Okay, so I don't know what's happened to my little sister, but the goal is, what we're going to do is we're going to start critiquing the pictures. Definitely we're not going to get to a lot of pictures. There's loads of pictures, over 100 pictures, well over 100 pictures being uploaded. So we're not going to get all to the pictures. We've also, I just want to tell everybody that we've got from the poll that we ran, we have about 42% of you defined yourself as turning pro. We had 5% seasoned pro. We have 32% call themselves amateur, 20%, 16, 17% call themselves beginner. So we've got a wide range of different skills and different levels, and that's cool. And we're going to try and go with it. So both asking everybody basically to have a little bit of patience. Some of you, sometimes it's going to be a little quick for some of you. Sometimes it's going to be a little slow for some of you. But I'm going to try and keep it as as relevant as possible, and we'll try and give over as much very, very insightful and general information as we can. So my little sister has come in as me, obviously using her mind to work this out. Joe, are you there? Can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, that's our first technical. Go on, show everybody. Just say hello to everyone if you don't mind. Only in front of 100.
Can you hear me and see me?
Yeah, I can. You're only in front of 170 people. That's fine. Okay, Jay.
Okay, no pressure.
Hopefully, that's going to be our final technical glitch. Okay, but I'm sure there will be others. Also, please, guys, have some rahmanas. How do you say that in English? Have some. It doesn't sound right to say have some mercy on me, but have a little bit of patience with me with this whole setup, because it's a new thing to us all. Okay, so let's jump in. We're going to open up. I'm going to do a screen share, which is very funny when you do this, because it does a really cool, like, wow thing. Now we're going to move this over here a little bit. Oh, excuse me. And now what's going to happen is I'm going to start looking at these pictures, and you're welcome to ask questions. I, from now, I'm not going to be able to see. Can everyone just give me a heads up that they can see these pictures? Yeah, can everyone see these pictures? And can everybody see me drawing on the screen? Just let me know if you can see that. From here on, I'm not going to be able to see your comments, but Joe will be able to see your comments. Okay, she's going to be great. That's great. She's going to be answering as me. Okay, but I'm not going to be answering. I'm just going to be involved in this. If you ask a question that resonates with her, then she is going to pause me. Joe, just say Shmuel, stop a second so I can hear you.
Shmuel, stop a second.
Okay, so that's what Joe's going to do when she sees a relevant question. Otherwise, I'm going to be going through pictures. Please forgive me, like I said, if I don't look at your picture. I'm going to be, I wanted to let's just do a quick shuffle over here, okay? Everyone who knows me knows that Picasa is the way to go when it comes to dealing with the logistics of the images, and Lightroom is the way to go when it comes to dealing with editing your images, okay? So let's jump in. If I just go past the picture, it's because I don't feel that there's enough to learn from it to warrant us spending time on it. Not that it's a bad picture, not that it's a good picture, just that I don't feel that it's relevant for us right now. Okay, I'm not going to be as encouraging as I usually am in this. In the way that we run it in the school is, that I just try and give as much encouragement as possible. But here the emphasis is going to be on the learning, because everyone's kind of anonymous. Okay, one last thing just before I jump into this. I'm just going to just stop my screen share for 1 second, and there's an offer that we're making. that I'm putting up here. What we're doing now, we've never done this before, but we're offering a 60% off of all of our courses. Please, if you bought a course recently, I'm sorry, but we're not going to give you a refund like we usually do. We've given 50% off in the past many times, but this is unheard of. I'll talk to you more about this in the break, but there's a click here that you can go to see that I've created a page where I show you a lot of the deals that are available. If you're already involved in the masterclass, then you've got the option to buy the flash course. If you're not involved in the masterclass, then the masterclass is an amazing opportunity for you. Maybe everyone could just give a heads up on what they feel about the masterclass as well. And other than that, there's loads of other mini courses that you can get involved in. Okay, let's get back to work. 1 second. Okay, here we go. And great, let's jump in. Okay. So here we've actually got, we've cropped in beautifully. The edit is a little bit, it's not contrasty enough. It needs a little bit more contrast. We could crop in a little bit closer as well. Okay, I like the context of the people in the background. I think it would make sense if we had a slightly narrower, slightly wider aperture to blur the people out in the background and maybe have them doing something a little more interesting, because obviously our attention is on these guys here. So we're flicking back there, but they're not that much to look at, to be honest. Okay, this is cute. This is nice. We could definitely do with softening her skin in Lightroom. I would crop in like this. We've got lovely energy moving in this direction, okay, and a perfect amount of space once we've cropped in like that. We've got a lovely strong triangle over here, perfectly on the third, which is nice. Lovely energy, really nicely balanced, nice balancing of the light between the background and the subject as well. The light on our subject's face is not great. It's not a disaster. It's not great. Okay, this is beautiful. This is well done. It could be argued that it's maybe a drop over edited, just a drop. Somebody here is very, oh, this is Esty Sterling. Okay, she's a great student of mine. She's one of my favorites. Okay, we've got energy basically moving upwards, slight energy moving upwards. That always means that it makes sense to leave space up here. So I think what I'm going to do, if we want to leave more space up here, is we can crop a little bit off the bottom. That's a big rule that we learn, is although obviously we can't add space to one side of the image, by cropping off from the other side of the image, we do actually end up relatively adding space. I think that makes a big difference. The edit on their faces, like I said, maybe some people would think is a little too much. I personally think it's beautiful. Otherwise, the light is gorgeous. We've got this lovely rim light around these two girls. We've got gorgeous eye contact. Gorgeous, beautiful, well done, well done. Okay. The light on our kids' faces here is not is a little bit to be desired. Again, we could soften this in Lightroom, but the real problem here is that we don't have a comparable exposure between the background and the subject. It's quite cute. Okay, not really much to look at here, although I like the graphics. This is the kind of picture that a photographer will like, but a client would have zero interest in. There's not really a subject, not really much to keep our attention. Okay, this is cute. This is well done. I think I would crop a teeny little bit off the left side to balance it a little bit. We've got a nice energy moving in this direction.
Sure, some people are saying that the pictures aren't clear.
So we're not, that's going to be, we're not going to be able to do anything about that. People could maybe refresh their, if people refresh or that reconnect thing, but there's not much more we can do about that. That's just the limits of the
Also, one question very quickly. Is the 60% off included in the AMP course?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Yeah, no, thank you. That was good. Okay, oh, Yehiel says they're clear. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, otherwise the skin could definitely be softened here, but one thing that really adds a lot of energy here is these lines. Okay, everyone knows that, or we don't know, maybe some of you know, triangles, we've got three primary shapes: squares, circles, and triangles. Circles have got a kind of relaxed, passive feel to them. Triangles have got a very energized feel. So whenever you see a triangle, there's a kind of energy that it elicits within you. So when we've got these leading lines, squares, by the way, are kind of in the middle. Okay, but when we've got these leading lines, it adds a a kind of undercurrent of energy. So, and then we've got this quite intense look, and the eyes have been edited beautifully as well. So that's great, Sippy. Big thumbs up. Okay. It could be a little tighter with our crop here. This area here is completely useless. There's nothing moving our eye over there. So cropping like that definitely needs a bit of editing, this picture. Okay. Okay. So now this is something good to learn from. We've got a lovely pose here. Yeah, these hands are great here. We've got this nice triangle over here. Lovely overall shape. That's well done. What you missed here, who's this? Elisa, okay, is that we've got an energy moving in this direction. You can see that, especially with this kid turned in this direction. So there's an energy moving in this direction, but you've left the space over here. So if you either got them to move, or if just you moved yourself a bit this way and had the space on this side of the image, that would make for a much more comfortable picture to look at, a much more comfortable viewing experience. Okay. Definitely needs a little bit of work on the coloring there. That's not very pleasant. Also, we have to be careful with splodges of light like this, and also it wasn't the shutter speed. You didn't hold the camera still enough for this. Okay, this is a great shot. Beautiful looking family, lovely light. Now the issues here, there's a couple of issues. Our bar mitzvah boy looks like a bar mitzvah boy in the middle. Okay, firstly, he looks kind of, I don't know what's going on, but forget that. That's a smaller point. This arm, these two arms here, see, we've got this line coming around here like this, something like that. Now, the problem is over here, we've got a lot of information happening over here. So our eye doesn't get around very well. Basically, this arm here is too much, okay? And this arm here is too much, especially with the colors. So if this girl was holding on to this boy's hand and mom was holding on to this boy's elbow, then that would get rid of this very intense piece of the puzzle over here that's getting distracted by his hands over here. In short, and we're going to discuss this in the posing class, we want a clean line moving around family portraiture, and whenever something happens that breaks that causes a problem. Another important point from this picture is that when we have a part of our subject that intersects with the edge of the canvas, it creates a sticking point for the eye, which means that we get distracted by this area over here. But there's a lot of lovely qualities in this picture, and I think they'll love it, but technically it could be a little bit tighter. Okay, this is cute. We haven't got stats here, but it looks like the shutter speed wasn't enough to get a sharp picture. Also, a very important thing that we need to really get good on is not being a slave to our aperture. Now, everyone knows that when you've got an aperture that can go to like 1.8 or something, the temptation to shoot a 1.8 is like irresistible. You know, you can't like 2.2, no. But we have to sometimes curb that. The truth is, in this picture, to have shot this at say f4 wouldn't have made any difference. It would have just meant that the two eyes would be pin sharp, which would make all the difference. Okay, this is gorgeous, beautiful picture. Well done. Nice one, Nechama. Okay, we've got lovely energy moving in. That adds a lot. We've got a gorgeous expression on the kid's face. Lovely light. Background is not distracting in any way. I can't see the stats, but it looks like we've got a good aperture here. We've got another very important thing is a perfect separation between background and subject. Okay, and the way these two legs are kind of very cutely leaning over to each other just gives this very endearing, gorgeous feel. Beautiful energies, really engaging, special picture. Well done.
Shmuel, sorry, someone asked, Rivki's asked, how do you get the picture sharp if shutter speed isn't enough?
That's basically you can't unless you're using a tripod. But even if you're using a tripod and your subject's moving or there's any kind of movement, we learn in the school that it's absolutely forbidden to shoot at a 60th of a second. Okay, you need to be getting to at least a 200th of a second. The slower your shutter speed gets, the more dangerous it becomes. Even at a 200th of a second, it's not for sure. Once you get to like a 500th of a second, that's like when you can really like let go. Otherwise, it's not. When you use a slow shutter speed, you have to be very, very careful. And you shouldn't, like I said, you should be trying to get to at least a 200th of a second.
And Miriam's just following that up. Should I give up on the light to get a fast shutter speed?
You can't give up on the light. You can't underexpose your picture. So best bet would be to choose another time to shoot. If you're running out of light, you need a wider aperture. But remember, as photographers, we are bound by physics, not just as photographers, as human beings, we're bound by physics. So if there's not enough light, there's not enough light, and there's nothing you can do about that. Okay, you can only open your aperture so far, you can only raise your ISO so much, and you can only slow your shutter speed so much as well. And everything has an opportunity cost, as we learn in the class. Okay, this is very intimate. I would crop in close. As we learn over and over, cropping in close. Oh, by the way, if you haven't realized this already, you should have a pen and paper with you, because there's a lot of stuff coming out here. But as we know, cropping in close gives us two advantages: intimacy and intensity. And this is a very intimate picture, so cropping in close gives us the energy. We've also got a slightly stronger energy moving this way, a lot to do with his sloping over here, the sloping of his shoulder over here, and the energy of mum turned in this direction. So leaving space over here means that it's nice and balanced. That's a gorgeous shot. Well done. Okay, this is a victim of a too slow a shutter speed. That is a problem with a too slow a shutter speed. Unlucky there. Okay, color balance. Excuse me. Okay, this is cute. I would definitely crop in like this. Let's pay attention to the space around the image. Okay, we've got all of this. This is very much, it's neither center nor is it a third. So we could crop in like this. But the truth is, I feel that there's more of an energy moving in this direction, with this girl leaning backwards. So I don't know if we could do, let's see what this looks like.
Shmuel, when you crop, you use quality of the picture?
No. Oh, well, yeah, for sure you do. Yeah, absolutely. If you, as you make
what's with negative space? Why always crop?
So people refer negative. We've got two kinds of space in the picture. Okay, this is called the positive space, basically our subject, and then all of this is called the negative space. It's kind of a fancy picture for just what I call space. Okay, so one of the most fundamental parts of photography, of composition anyway, in photography, is the how do you say it? I'm losing my words here. Is the paying, that's not the word, but paying attention to the space in the image. Okay, we don't want any extra space. We have to be very aware of energies, which energies move. So like, for example, in this picture, this girl's bending over a little bit and this arm is dominant. So we have an energy moving in this direction. So to give this picture a kind of relaxed feel, we need to leave space over here that creates for us a more dynamic feel and allows the right energies to kind of move within us. Okay, this is cute. I would definitely recommend cropping in a little bit like this. I love the depth in this picture. Excuse me, 1 second. I love the depth in this, 1 second, excuse me. I love the depth in this picture. Having this stuff in the foreground is a great way of creating a lot of depth in the picture. So that's well done. Okay, she looks nice and happy. We've also got, importantly, a strong triangle here. So we need a little bit of space at the top to allow our eye to move upwards. But otherwise, that's really well done. Okay.
Shmuel, one more question. Why does the picture sometimes not come out clear, even if the camera is focused and the shutter speed is high? That's from Ava. So
the picture, there's 3 reasons why a picture won't be clear, and nothing else, basically. Either the shutter speed is not quick enough, and therefore there's motion blur. You missed the focus, which could also be to do with the aperture, which means you didn't have enough depth of field, then it would be out of focus. Or the ISO is too high, and the quality of the image is degraded to the point where the image isn't sharp anymore. Outside of those 3 options, there isn't any other option. So if your picture isn't sharp, it's either the shutter speed is too slow, you miss the focus, or the ISO is too high. If anyone can think of anything else, if I'm missing something, then let me know. But here's a great example of, we've got lovely energy moving in. We've got this lovely depth with all of this, all of the foliage, all the leaves in the foreground, but we've got this strong triangle moving upwards. And it goes like a little bit like that, but generally it's basically an upward triangle. So it would make sense in a picture like this to crop it. It's also very intimate as well. So we crop in close, we give relatively more room to the top. And does everyone see how that just makes this, sets this picture, takes it up another level. Okay, I want to take a couple of pictures into Lightroom as well. I'm just trying to think. Okay, this is a great example of a picture where you didn't put enough, you weren't careful enough, you weren't precise enough. Okay, with a picture like this, when you've got such a strong, like shapes in the background, it makes sense to be absolutely accurate. Now, if you're going to have lines, you either whack them out completely, or you make them absolutely straight. So this is kind of neither here nor there. So that would definitely gain from being very tight. This is beautiful. Well done, Devora. Excellent. This is really beautiful. Again, I think I would be tempted to crop a little bit off here, but you found a beautiful place. Lovely energy with the pinks in the background as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous eye contact. Excuse me. We missed eye contact with the little girl over here, which is a shame. And also we can see a nappy or a diaper, whatever you want to call it, over here. But otherwise beautiful, beautiful light, gorgeous, gorgeous. That's cute. Hello, mate. Okay, that's beautiful. That's well posed. You know, let's take this one into Lightroom and turn this into black and white, because this has got a real charm to it, this picture. 1 second. Let me just bring you up here with my One second. Okay, so let's take this. Let's turn this one into a black and white. If you're familiar, if you're in the masterclass, you know this is basically what we do over and over with your homework. Is we critique your homework, and each week we take one of your images into Lightroom and we edit it as best as we can. So this picture has got a lot of energy to it. As we said, triangles are energized, and that is super energized. We've got real energized looks. We've got all this hair. This little boy looks absolutely fantastic, absolutely amazing. This is a great shot. This is a really great shot. R.Travis, excellent, Rechi. Another one of my top students, well done. And we've also got this lovely energy going off into the background as well, which is triangular, which also gives us depth and a lot of feeling. Now, to make this into a powerful black and white, okay, let's click black and white. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, never ever feel or never think that to turn a picture into black and white in Lightroom just means clicking black and white. It couldn't be farther from the truth, okay? Clicking black and white is the first thing we do. Now, the next thing we do is contrast, okay? Now, what the contrast usually ends up doing is making the blacks too dark. So then we go to shadows and we start to open up the shadows, okay? So now we've ended up with a more punchy picture. A more punchy picture, sounds cute. But we haven't lost detail. Now, the next thing we go to is clarity. Okay, now as everyone knows now, we've finished now basically with our global adjustments, which means fixing the entire frame. Now we're going to pull out our paintbrush and we're going to do our local adjustments. Okay, so I want to brighten up their faces a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to put up my exposure a teeny bit, not all of it, just this girl here. Really, that's actually it, I think. Okay, and now I'm going to create a new pin, and this time I'm going to go to town on the hair. Okay, this is really a big part of the picture. The texture in this hair over here is really is really a big part of this image. Okay, we've got a lot of energy in this image. So by banging out this hair and turning it into, look at that, that's excellent. Okay, and now I want to bring out a bit more detail in the girl's tops over here. Okay, now just simply using our exposure here, just brightening things up a little bit. Okay, that's good. I'm just going to go over a few more lines just to give some extra oomph. Okay, remember this picture is all about oomph. Again, one of the things that we learn in the masterclass is the 2 rules of post-production.
Someone's just asked how you add texture to the hair.
Texture to the hair is using clarity. The 2 rules of the 2 principles, the 2 guiding principles of post-production are as follows, ladies and gentlemen. Number 1 is called emphasizing the subject, and number 2 is called going further. Okay, emphasizing the subject can be done in one of 2 ways. We can either emphasize the subject, or we can de-emphasize everything else. It's going to give us the same effect. Okay, going further, and this is why I brought this up right now. Going further means we need to work out, we need to taste and see, is this picture an energized picture? Does it have a kind of dynamic energy? If so, go further and make it more dynamic. Or maybe it's more relaxed, more passive. If so, go further, make it more relaxed, more passive. So we took this to the nth degree. We really banged this out. And I'm going to do one last thing, which you know if you're in our class that we always finish off with, which is a vignette, which is a darker vignette.
No, you've got a minute.
Thank you. Okay, which is basically darkening the edges of the frame, which is the de-emphasizing of everything else, which emphasizes our subject. I'm going to just add a little bit more brightness over with our brush on the girl's tops a little bit. Just went a little bit.
Before you leave the black and white image, someone's asked, please, could you just repeat the first few steps in the black and white global conversion? Do you want to do that now or later?
Okay, fine, no problem. Number one, just put up that you turn first 1 second. You click black and white. Okay, then you put up the contrast, then you open up the shadows, a bit of clarity. That's basically it. And now let's have a look. Look where we went from to. Okay, it's a lovely picture, a fantastic, fantastic shot. I really love this shot, Rechi. And look what we turned it into. Bam. From this to this, from this to this. Beautiful, well done. Okay, let's keep moving. That's beautiful. Okay, interesting. We've got energy moving in this direction, but the eyes, this proves to us that it's the eyes that really dominate the energy of the picture. The eyes really, even though the whole body is facing this way, the eyes are moving us this way. Very important point to remember that. Very important. Okay, lots of energy there. That's lovely. Well done. Oh, I hate the cake smashes. I hate them. I like to remember my kids. Like I try and get the memories of my kids covered in like all kinds of things out of my mind and remember when they're clean. Joe, no, you feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't understand why people do the cake smash anyway. This is beautiful. Background's a bit blech, like just not a background. Lovely. Everything's really nice. Everything's really nice, but the background's just, you just lose it. This is cute. I would crop in like this over here. See, this is a little bit of a problem because really we want to crop up higher, but we're going to compromise our composition. We're going to compromise our subject, sorry, because we've got, see, it doesn't work perfectly. We've got this lovely shape coming around here. We've got this lovely triangle as well made like this. Joe, don't both of these pictures look like Susie? Like Susie's a little girl and Susie is a, that's our big sister.
Yeah.
Maybe not. Okay. Anyway,
we're going a couple minutes over, just to let you know.
Okay, we'll finish off now. Anyway, we've got energy moving this way. It's a beautiful picture, but it would be nicer if Mum's hand was a little bit higher, and then the circle would be completed a little bit higher, and then we could crop in more something like that. But as you can see,
cropping vertically in portrait, someone's asked.
Yeah, for sure. With portraits, for sure, you can crop vertically. We need to see the picture, but when we've got energy moving this way, it makes sense to leave space over there. Okay, I think, like I said, I'm sorry we didn't get to these pictures, but we'll hear feedback from you. Maybe you guys would like us to just do a whole session of just critiquing, but like I said, it's everybody put in their pictures, and we got through a few of them, but that was basically how it goes. If you enjoyed that, okay, and you're not a member of our masterclass is full of this. You end up with over 2 hours of this exclusively dedicated to you, and the kind of transformations that our students go through over and over is just nothing short of inspiring. Literally, the transformations are amazing. As you saw, some of the students, you saw their work now, they came in literally not knowing how to take a picture, and after a few weeks they're shooting fantastic professional portraits. Amazing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's move into our next part of our program. Okay, Joe, we good?
Well, you've got lots of questions about the AMP course, just to let you know. Not for now, but maybe in the break.
Yeah, well, we'll speak about the AMP another time. That's a whole thing in itself. One
more question: will the picture come out more blurry if the aperture is lower or if the aperture is higher?
If the number is lower, then you get a shallower depth of field, which means the background will be blurrier. If that means the aperture is wider. The lower the number, the bigger the hole, the shallower the depth of field. The higher the number, the smaller the hole. That means the longer your depth of field, the less light as well. Okay. Okay, so everybody told us that they wanted me to talk about posing. Literally everybody was interested in posing. So I figured we'll speak a little bit. I'm going to go quick. Again, there's a lot of information here. We have a posing class, a really good posing class, where we talk generally about all different kinds of posing. But today we're just going to be talking about small groups, okay? Meaning small families, meaning from 1 child to 2 children, okay? Small families in the world that I'm in anyway. We just worked out the other day. You know, I'm not going to say it. Okay, so when we begin the shoot, very important, okay? On the way to the shoot, yeah, I just pulled out a few examples of this. On the way to the shoot, get the kids excited. We're not just walking to take pictures. We're already there. The minute I meet my clients, it's go, 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 go. That's exactly what's going on, okay? So first things first, start immediately. Get everyone in the mood. Okay, now for a small family, I don't know if Davida and Sophia watching this, but anyway, if you are, hi. This is for me, like the perfect pose of 2 parents and a child, okay? We've got this beautiful triangle, this beautiful triangular pattern. It's really a repetition of a triangle, which works really well. And then we've got this opposite triangle of the heads over here. And overall, this is called the underlying geometric structure of the image, which we talk about at length in the masterclass. But this gives this is a really powerful image. Now, what we need, a really powerful composition. What we really need to remember, the big problem when we're dealing with 2 parents and a young child is, it's kind of like this. The truth is I haven't actually got an example to show you guys because I never take the picture personally. But the problem is when we've got a little kid and the kid's down here and the parents are up here, we break one of the rules of photography, of family photography, which is keeping all the heads close together. So we've basically got one of 2 options. We can either raise the child to the parents or sorry, we can either bring the parents down to the child. As we see here, this is kind of a hybrid, we'll talk about that in a second. Or the other option is to raise the child up to the parents. But one very, very important rule is, I wonder if Shira's watching. If you are, hi, how you doing? Is keeping the heads very, very close together, okay? A very, very important rule. Another tremendously important rule in family portrait photography is having the shoulders moving in, which creates, like, imagine like you're kneading bread or kneading challah. It's like giving like energy moving inwards makes all the difference. Really does make all the difference. Okay, and then you can smush people in a little bit closer, etc. Okay, more examples of the same kind of thing. This is a nice example. Again, we've got beautiful energies moving in. Beautiful energies moving in, and here we really cashed in on some really powerful coloring over there. Okay, this is a lot of lovely energy in this picture as well. Okay,
Shmuel asked, how do I get rid of bad shadow on faces
in that area? Okay, we've got also the option with 2 kids where this is the more preferable option, having the children on the outside and making sure again that the children are facing inwards. Okay, so we end up with this nice triangular shape over here like this. That works well. Okay, again, the same idea, just throwing in another child. Another very important rule that we learn is that we don't want to have one child or one head underneath another head. That's a big, big no-no. The idea of having one head above another head creates a breakage in the movement around the composition, and it really does distract from the picture. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Okay, now this is very important. Here's a picture of you, Joe. This is my little sister Jo, her amazing husband Daniel, and their first son Louis, who's now got a little brother called Lenny, who's just as cute, maybe even a little bit cuter. Don't tell Louis that. Anyway, I'm just joking. But anyway, so this is all about creating interactions. Okay, a very important part. I'm going to quote a photographer called Jerry Gahonis, who's an amazing, intelligent, clever guy. And he said like this. He said, when there's magic, capture it. When there isn't, create it. And most of the time there isn't. So you have to create it, and it falls squarely on your shoulders. Okay, if you're the photographer, don't feel that it's just, okay, it's up to them now. We're everyone's, I put them in the place. I'll take some pictures, smile. That's the beginning. That's literally the beginning. So look, here we've got a gorgeous picture of our friend here, Sari, and her children. They're smushed in, and it's a lovely pose. It's a lovely picture. But let's go further. Squeeze, go on, nuzzle in, tickle, smush, smush. And then we can start creating some really special interactions, which is what it's about. It's one of the things that annoys me in the world of photography, is that we hear so much about post-production and aperture and printing and pixels and all kinds of compressions and raw and whatever. But you know what the real thing is? The real thing is describing and displaying relationships, whether it's the relationship between a mother and her child, whether it's a relationship between brothers and sisters, whether it's the portrayal of the soul of the child. Just showing, going into someone's soul and trying to show who that person really is. Look at it again, creating interactions. We don't just put them there and we're like, okay, guys, smile, big smiles. We're like, Dad, look at your daughter. Look how gorgeous she is. Look how beautiful she is. Oh, she's gorgeous. Let her touch your face. Let her touch your face. And like one of the things I do when I'm taking pictures at a wedding that's like the end of the street when I say this, I love it, is I'll turn around and I'll say to the mother or the father, I'll hug them into the bride, and I'll say, tell her how much you love her, but don't say anything. And you can't imagine, maybe you can imagine, but tears start to flow, and now you're capturing real relationships. That's really, in my opinion, that's the fun that we need to get all the technical stuff good. We need to get all the artistic stuff good. But at the end of the day, we also need to be displaying relationships. That's really what I feel it's about personally anyway. Okay, another nice option here is framing the child. When you just got one kid, framing the kid with the parents, using the parents as a kind of using the parents as a graphical tool to frame the children. I love this picture. I love this picture with all my heart. And again, we're just using mum and dad. They're completely kind of random, but graphically they really add a lot to this image. They really do. We've got these two blobs over there, then we've got this kind of triangle here, and then we've got these lines over here. We've got such a fest of lines, which really adds so much to the image. Really does. There you go. Hello, mate. That's my little sister with her boy. I think I would actually crop this in a little bit. But that's again the same idea of using mum and dad to frame our child, just to also bring your attention to the idea that we've got energies moving in. So this is our picture, okay? Little Louis is our picture, okay? But we've got energies moving into him. So wherever our eye goes, we're just dragged back. And it really adds a lot to the picture, it really does. Okay? Same idea, just variations of the same idea, but very, very important to use this idea. Very important to cash in on this concept of framing our subject framing the child with the parents. Okay,
I've got a couple of minutes till break.
Thanks, Joe. Okay. Also very important. The truth is I haven't got that many pictures of small families. I take mainly pictures of larger families. But very important to get meltdown. I've got a great picture. Any kind of meltdowns, I love capturing that stuff. It's all part of the fun, and you put it in the slideshow, they love it. But this is a great kind of picture to make sure that you're on the ball. This does take a lot of technical skill to make sure that you can quickly snap this kind of shot, but a very important picture to grab the moments in between. Okay. Also, don't forget running and walking with your children, with the subjects. This you need to use AI Servo. Okay. For you guys who use Nikon, it's called something else. What's it called? It's called Servo movement something. I can't remember. But AI Servo on the Canon, which allows your camera to track. So a very important skill. We talk about that in class 6 of the masterclass, where we teach how to do this. But this is a great This is a great technique to be able to get pictures of people moving towards you, moving away from you. This is a problem. We messed this picture here. Without seeing the little kid here, we really do lose quite a lot. Okay, this is also nice. Okay, good. And running as well, your camera, if you use Servo, will have no problem keeping up. Very good. Okay. There, this is the kind of idea. This isn't very tidy. Be probably better if we put the little boy in the middle over here. Okay. Onward. Okay.
Sure.
Well, yeah.
There's a question. How do you make sure you can quickly change your stats to capture the candid moments?
3 words: practice, practice, and practice.
And also one more question. What camera do you personally recommend for beginners?
So you can look at our camera buying guide. If you go to the masterclass, we give you 4 options depending on who you are, as opposed to just telling you about the camera. So we have like the, what do we call it? The hacker, the play it safe, the connoisseur, and the gung ho. So we've kind of described 4 kinds of people, and then recommend cameras for that. You can find that for free on the masterclass. It's one of the previewable classes available there. Okay, I want to go a little bit further in this idea of showing relationships, because it's very important when you've got 1 kid and 2 parents, or 2 kids and 2 parents, to demonstrate the relationship between one of the children and one of the parents, etc. And again, don't feel that it's okay to just, heads in, smile, cheese. That's very, very basic, very basic. I feel that we owe much more to our clients, and it's all about, mum, kiss, please give her a kiss. Just show us how much you love her. Just again, these kinds of ideas. Just nozzle in, mummy. Just touch your nose to his forehead, and just think about how much you love him. Okay. Dad, isn't she just gorgeous? Isn't she absolutely gorgeous? Put your forehead on her head. Look how gorgeous she is. These kinds of ideas. Mum, you got such a special little girl there. Give her a hug. Squeeze, squeeze. Yeah? Dad, oh, she's beautiful. Look at that. Oh, you know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm trying to get at? It's a whole different level of photography when we start creating these magical moments. Now I'm just going to finish off by showing you. I think we might not have for this one. I'm going to show you very, very quickly. This is the picture that we got. Okay, look how many shots it took me to get that picture. 81 pictures, and in the end, it wasn't even. I even had to do a little Photoshop of the face. I had to Photoshop a face. That was how difficult. I'll go through very, very quickly. But if you look at each of the pictures, the kids looking different directions, different angles. Now, what a lot of people do is they take, say, 5 or 6 pictures, and then they spend, a lot of time doing face swaps and stuff. But if you go by our rules that we teach, which is called the law of engineering the odds, okay, which basically means taking a lot of pictures, you'll delete a lot of pictures, which is fine, no problem, but you'll end up coming out with the perfect image. Now, a photographer friend of mine, he referred to this as spray and pray. Okay, take a lot of pictures and you spray and pray. And I'm absolutely 100% against what he said, and I disagree with him with my whole heart. I call it engineering the odds. In 2020, when there's no problem with storage, there's no problem with the camera buffering, there's no problem with anything like that, yeah, take loads of pictures, and it's a no-brainer, absolute no-brainer. You delete a bunch of pictures, that's fine. And you keep a few. So again, we'll show, look at this. Okay, this is very special. Isn't that a gorgeous special moment? Okay, that's also special, but I've missed the focus here. She should be focused, and that's also very special. But we've got 2 really special pictures. Look how many pictures it took to get this. Not special, not special, not special, not special, not special. Ah, there we go. That was the one. Okay, but again, we have to work to engineer the odds to make sure we're getting these gorgeous special moments. Really, really important. Beautiful. Okay. Okay, I think, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a break for a minute.
You want to answer some questions, or you want to? I've got quite a few.
Yeah, go on, Joe. I'll give me a couple.
Okay, first.
Let me just turn on. Let's go back onto. Let's see ourselves again.
So sorry to people here. Should I put mine on? Sorry to anyone that if I haven't answered your question or addressed it, please re-ask it. How can you crop a picture and give a client an image that's not a standard 4:6?
No, my opinion on that question is very clear. Is we live in 2020. How many people print 4:6s or 5:7s? I think basically no one. Okay, the people who do are a complete minority. People are either not printing pictures, or they're doing snapfish albums, they're making slideshows, or they're getting them custom printed, which can do any it's called aspect ratio, the shape. So in my opinion, why limit yourself to a certain shape when no one really cares? And the amount of times you're going to get caught on it is so, and if you do, then you just send them the irregular image, the original image. So otherwise, I don't pay any attention to aspect ratio, and I never get in trouble for it.
How would you determine when to soften the skin?
It's rare that you don't want to soften the skin. Again, depending on the time limits depending on the time limits of the editing and what you're charging, etc. But generally, for feature images at least, softening skin is a good thing. But saying that, actually, the truth is, I actually rarely soften skin in our pictures.
What is the max ISO you can use?
Completely dependent on your camera. Completely dependent on your camera. Impossible to answer. But what I am going to do right now, Joe, I'm going to take a minute. I want to just show people quickly what we're offering for the.
Yeah, lots of questions. You've had lots of questions about that.
So I'm just going to click up here and go to. Joe.
Shmuel, we lost you for a few minutes.
Have we lost everyone?
No, everyone's here.
Oh my days. I changed the browser. I closed the browser, I opened a different browser. Is everyone back? Can everyone just give me a heads up that we're all back? Were you there the whole time, Joe?
Yeah, we were all here.
Oh, good. Thank God I think you signed in as me, because when I signed out, it didn't close the thing. Thank God. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, let me just do a screen share. Okay. Yeah, okay. Relax.
Someone said I stayed calm. Thank you.
I started to sweat. 1 second.
Only 215
Only
people.
220. No, that's no problem, don't worry. Okay, 1 second. I need to do a screen share. So let me just do this a second. Here we go. Screen share. Okay, can everyone see that? I don't know if 1 second. How do I share? Oh, so I need to do this. So this, everyone can see this, yeah? Joe, can you see the chat?
Yeah.
Can everyone see this? Can everyone just give me a heads up if you can see my screen? Okay. Joe, you getting heads up?
There are a lot of questions, so let me know.
I'm gonna say this over very quickly, yeah. That our masterclass, for those of you who aren't in our masterclass, it's amazing. It really is. I know I'm obviously biased, but ladies or gentlemen, if you're in our masterclass, just give a heads up for how great the masterclass is for the people who aren't in our masterclass, because it's really extraordinary. It really is. The transformations that we're seeing over and over again from the most unlikely people when they begin. It's just inspiring. It really is. And for $395, it's absolutely a bargain. You get over 2 hours of my personal time, and it's amazing. For those of you, ladies and gentlemen, who have done the masterclass or finishing it off or towards the end of it, or even at the beginning of it, the Flash Mastery is the obvious next step. Okay. Again, for this kind of price, you end up with more than 2 hours of my personal time. And we've included now, it comes with a 30-minute triage call where we basically, brainstorm your business and stuff like that. We've got Power Insights. We're going to get into Power Insights in a minute. That's basically me going between two different kinds of pictures, learning all kinds of amazing insights. SD on location, that's me on location with a Rebel T5i, which is a very basic entry camera. It's a nice camera, but it's still worth about $400 or $500 with a basic lens and a family. It's a completely normal family shoot, but with a very simple kit, which I don't usually use. Really worth watching as well. Also, our meditations in Lightroom, we got amazing feedback. We just launched this. Just also, everyone should notice, I made this myself, so you can see the click here thing gets big if anyone just wants to mess around with that themselves. But otherwise, we got amazing feedback from this course. It's basically me editing in Lightroom over and over and over again, and it really gets it like into you how to do it, so it makes a big difference. And then cracking the code to perfect family posing again it's actually part of the masterclass. It's a really, really solid class, lots of amazing information, and just a really helpful class to be involved in. Okay, Joe, you there?
Right, you've had quite a few positive comments about your masterclass. You're going to enjoy reading these comments.
I didn't see anything. Okay, great.
I want to ask if they can give the 60% to a friend who she knows wants to do it but wasn't able to make the webinar.
Yeah, go for it. That's 60%. I'm telling you, for 24 hours, it's now 23 hours. You can that is an infinite coupon that can be used over and over and over and over, except the MP. But so cash in, send it to your friends. It's an amazing kind of a present. And I know that right now it's not the best time to be taking pictures outdoors, but who cares? It'll be ready for the spring. Everyone knows how easygoing we are with the class. Buy now and use it for later. That's our motto, and everyone knows how easygoing we are. Shmuel is really the best teacher ever. Shmuel, do you want to carry on with the power insights, and I can save these questions to the Q&A at the end? Yeah, let's do this. Yeah, oh, Chaim, why we just raised the price of the flash course. You're right, we did. That's how it is, because it's worth it. It really is worth it. Okay, onward. We're into power insights. I need to do like this. I need to share my screen again. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your seats. Oh, what happened there? Oh no. Joe, you with me?
Yeah.
My screen is doing funny stuff.
Ask everyone to tell you when they're here, because then you get 200 messages and I lose all of the questions.
1 second. Oh man, my computer's doing something funny. My computer's like frozen. I think I have to sign out and sign back in.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm going to go out and come back in again. That's annoying.
Let's keep recording all these questions for you for the end.
Chrome crashed. I've never seen that before. Okay, Joe, I'll be back in a second.
All right. Don't leave us for too long, Shmuel.
Okay, Joe, we're back.
Yeah.
1 second.
Shmuel, is there a link I can just send people to all the courses that are reduced?
Yeah, oh yeah, I'll put the thing up.
Because the link to your Zero to Pro website, it's not got included all the offers.
No, it's the website is www.ztp webinar.live. Then you have to write 1 second. Webinar.live. Oh, there it is. 60-OFF. Okay, ZTP webinar.live /
I'm going to put it on the group chat for everybody, so don't worry.
Oh, you do that, yeah? Okay, thanks, Joe. Wait, but you can do 1 sec. Can I remove that? I can start the offer again. Do you see that? Did that pop up? Not sure. Okay, let's get back into it. 1 second. Let's share my screen. Okay, here we go. Let's move this over here. And let's bring up this. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, power insight. So this is something that you can only do when you take a lot of pictures, and I do it, and you're a teacher as well, because basically what power insights is whenever I do a job, when I get pictures from my editor, I look through my pictures, I always keep whenever I see something to learn, I just put them to the side, and that's it. So let's go. There's going to be all random kinds of things, okay? But let's discuss. Okay, so this here is the difference between a wide aperture and a narrow aperture. F8, you can see over here, and F1.8, and this is a great example, even though obviously it's a nicer expression, it's a great example where a narrower aperture trumps a wider aperture. Okay, now this is a great example. Look at this. Look at the difference between let's do this quickly, a poll. Everybody, I want you to all tell me, which do you prefer? This is A, B, A, B, A, B. Everyone sign in, just let me know what you think. Because what I'm trying to prove to you is that composition is objective. It's an absolutely objective reality. Not absolutely, but oh, we got a couple of A's there. Or oh no. Guys, beam me up, beam me up. I feel so stupid. Anyway, we can see that clearly B, this is A and this is B. The way I understand this is that by putting our subject perfectly centered in between these two objects, it makes all the difference. Okay, now this is another amazing example of how the teeniest thing makes a massive difference. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Can we just, I'm going to do this again. Can we reset the poll? Can you just tell me, ladies and gentlemen, A, if you think this is amazing, or B, if you don't think it's amazing? Okay, look at the difference between that teeny little flick of hair. Look at the energy added by those two little lines that pop out from this lady's hair. Isn't that amazing? I think it's amazing anyway. I think other people think it's amazing as well. Okay, onward. Now, this is an amazing example. I'm sorry for using the word amazing so much. Oh, people don't think it's amazing. Oh, no. Okay. I bet there's people there just clicking A. Okay, well, I think it is amazing what difference that makes. Okay, but this is a beautiful example of the difference between flash on camera and flash off camera. Okay, this is as good as it gets flash on camera, basically. This was my assistant who didn't have access to my assistant photographer who didn't have access to my lighting assistant. And this is the picture that I took at basically the same moment using my lighting assistant. Look at the difference. It would be very difficult to do much more than that with a flash on camera. And look at this beautiful formed light with these lovely deep shadows and just such a superior picture. So superior. This is the reason why I literally jump through hoops to make sure that I have an assistant with me every time that I shoot. Okay, this is another example of how we have two images, two components of an image that overlap one another, how it distracts from the actual image. Okay, so keeping our subjects isolated is a big part of photography.
It's 3:05.
Oh, we need to finish. Okay, we'll go a little bit longer. This is another really, really important lesson about one of the things, just like we spoke about with our aperture. Yeah, all photographers have got an inability to not shoot at the biggest aperture. Also, once you learn about the secret of light coming from behind, it's very difficult to not do it. But look at the difference. Yeah, when a girl's hair is like this and you've got light coming from behind, it's a disaster. I don't know if you call it a disaster, but it's not very nice. Look how much nicer that is. Okay, another couple of pictures. Look at the difference between when we don't have a perfect line around. It's not bad. It's not bad. We've got a triangle, which is good. But watch what happens when we move this little boy in here and we tighten up the loop going around. Isn't that so superior? Isn't that much superior? 1 second, look at the difference from here to here. And we'll finish off with this last picture. This is my friend's daughter that we shot for in Chicago this time last year. The difference between a backflash and not a backflash. Look how ugly this picture is. Look how this just doesn't work. Very important to know that as you become a much better photographer, is when you get to the higher levels of photography, you'll start to realize that a lot of the time less is more. And this is a great example of using more equipment is it degrades the picture as opposed to using less equipment. Okay, Joe.
Yeah.
Yeah, where are we holding? Time-wise.
Oh, is just gone. You're nearly on time to start your next session.
Okay. I just want to show one. I'm just going to show this one picture. Look at the difference here, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. I also think this is amazing. His eyes are down. Yeah. Check. I want everyone to just try and feel the picture. Look at the difference in this picture and this picture and that picture. Isn't that amazing? Okay, I'm going to do that poll again, even if I'm going to get to make it look stupid. I don't care. Please, ladies and gentlemen, please let me know if you think that A, that is amazing, or B, that is not amazing. Look at the feeling of that picture compared to the feeling of that picture. Okay, A, if you think it's amazing, or B, if you think it's not amazing. This is really like low energy, and that's so hopeful, no? Just raised his eyes. It made the whole image just feel so hopeful. Ah, look, I got it right. I look nearly 92%. I love that. Okay. Beautiful. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on. Joe, how are we doing?
Yeah, you're like really good for time.
We're good for time. Great. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to move into our next. So
it just leaves you with a slightly shorter time for Q&A if you want to do the business insights. Yeah.
I'm going to do this quickly. I think it's very important for a lot of people. Okay, so we've got a lot of people here. I know some of you are not in business. We've got a lot of people.
Very quickly, with that past picture, did you ask the boy to look up, or did you just happen to capture it?
No, I think I asked him to look up.
You asked him, okay.
Most of the stuff in my photography, nearly all of it is manufactured by myself. Like, it's quite amazing when you look at a wedding and you see from the beginning to end, and you feel like really it's the wedding through my eyes. Like that's really what a lot of photography is meant to be, that the photographer is imprinting his or her reality on the other person's event or family or whatever, and that's what they really are paying for, that your exciting reality or the way you see the world, etc. I don't know if you understand, Joe, does that make sense?
I was about to say I can verify that because I've been on the other end of your lens, and you definitely give the right direction.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, testimonials. I'm going to try and do this quickly, but testimonials are literally like the most important thing, one of the most important things in your business. Okay, so I made this little slideshow presentation to talk about it a little bit. I thought about 3 things. Again, I'm going to go quite quickly, so maybe you want to take a pen and paper to write this down. It builds credibility, which leads to trust, which leads to security. You cannot take money from people if they don't trust you or if they don't feel secure with you. You cannot take money from them. Okay, it's a prerequisite for taking money. Okay, emotional connection. Very important to create emotional connection, which is really in the world of trust and security as well. And then another great advantage of testimonials is being able to highlight key benefits. Now, this is going to be a little interesting. I wanted to show you the idea of quantity. I'm going to do a screen share again. And I'm just going to go to, this is the idea of quantity. Okay, we've got quality and quantity, and both of them are absolutely essential. Okay, so if anybody's looked at my websites before, you'll know that when you go onto the client thoughts page, if we're going to actually load up, okay, you can literally scroll on and on and on and on and on and on and on. When anybody gives me any kind of whiff of a testimonial, we cannot thank you enough for these beautiful memories, I put it in the truth is actually immediately upload it to my website. It's just one of these things that I do immediately. It's kind of a hobby of mine, collecting testimonials, but it adds so much credibility. Plus, Usually when you put loads of pictures of people on the website, your clients will end up recognizing people, and that again creates trust and credibility and emotional contrast, emotional connection. One second. Sorry. Where did the slideshow go? Oh, it's disappeared. That's annoying. One sec. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to quickly share my screen and do this in a different way. It's going to be a bit better. And everyone's going to see how orderly my digital world is. I hope it is orderly. 1 second. It's just going to be a little bit easier to show it like this.
Shmuel, do you always ask your clients beforehand for permission to post their comments?
No, never for the comments, no. Also, in regards to, 1 second, let me just share this. In regards to posting people's pictures on your website, I also don't ask permission. Reason being that when you ask people permission, they usually say no. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Excuse me. Sorry. They usually say no. And if they put their pictures up, they usually like it anyway. So I just leave it like that. And I found that you don't really get into much trouble otherwise. Okay. Now, I'd also like to hear from everybody if you just could write, did our testimonials on our ZTP website make an impact on you? What I did was I wanted another thing that we're very important about with testimonials is that they appear to be real. Okay. Because people are always kind of feeling that things aren't, maybe a little fake. So what I've done, the way that I've done this is I've put up people's testimonials actually with all the comments. I've just underlined. I was just wondering if people felt that made a big difference to them, because I thought it would make a big difference. It does to me. Okay, now there's a very important thing, the difference between what I call posed testimonials and candid testimonials. The truth is I've really kind of deleted all my posed testimonials. A posed testimonial is exactly like this. Shmuel Diamond has a knack for capturing those special moments. His professionalism, patience, and positive attitude make him a delight to work with. That's lovely. It's great. Okay, we had a wonderful experience with diamond images at our wedding, etc., etc. It's very wonderful and it's lovely. Okay, how do you get these ones? Is you have to bug people. Okay, bug them and beg them. Beg and bug at the same time. Okay. The other option is what's called candid testimonials. Shmuel, I'm crying. The combination of the music, the incredible shots, and the sweet memories are overwhelming. You are a true artist. We are blown away. Not only are you such a pleasure to work with, these pictures are outstanding. You found a way to capture the most amazing moments. Hi and woke me up at 5:15 a.m. and said it was worth getting up for. I'm breathless, etc., etc. Those are called candid testimonials. You can't ask for. You can't ask for them because they just come from the person's heart. How do you get them? Slideshows. Slideshows is the key to candid testimonials. Present the pictures with music. We have a whole thing on slideshows. We can speak about that another time. Maybe next class we'll talk about slideshows. But slideshows is the most amazing way of making a huge emotional impact on your subject. And then you get candid testimonials, and they are worth everything. Okay. In regards to the emotional connection, very important to give as much information as possible, include the name and location, any other relevant information. A picture goes a long, long way. So for example, everything I put up on my website, I have the picture of the family. Obviously, as a photographer, you have the family picture. Make sure you put the name and the location. As much information that makes an emotional connection, the better. Okay, video testimonials are amazing, but they're very difficult to get your hands on, especially decent ones. But if you can, they're great. You should ask them to be animated and emotional. Now, this is another good idea, which is the idea of demonstrating your the features of your business. So we did this in our wedding business. I had literally hundreds and hundreds of testimonials, and who wants to read through them all? So what we did was we said, we have taken the liberty of sifting through hundreds of thank you messages that we've so gratefully received from our clients, and then provided you below with what we believe to be the most relevant comments in helping you decide if we are the right photographer for you. The photography. I must tell you, these are the most magnificent pictures I've ever seen. You're the first person to take not just one, but many pictures of me that I actually like, etc. Capturing the essence of the event. You captured the life of the wedding in each photo. Adding to the simcha. Shmuel and his staff made us feel so comfortable and happy that it turned into an experience we'll always cherish. Socially conscious. My parents are divorced and it's a bit of a sticky situation. And I don't think it's going to be more elegantly handled, etc., etc., etc. Okay, that's a nice way. That can only really take place when you've got a lot of testimonials. But if you can create such a presentation, I think that's a really good idea. Okay, so in summary, this is it. The more the merrier. The more testimonials, the better. Okay, get as many as you can, even if it's just thank you, the pictures are gorgeous, stick it on your website. Okay, concentrated on candid testimonials more than post testimonials, using slideshows to get your hands on them. Okay, give as much info as of the one testifying as possible. Okay, creates the emotional relationship. Persist in asking. Ask up to 3 times. Remember the 2 words, beg and bug. Okay, beg and bug to get your post testimonials. Very, very important, especially when you're beginning. Okay, by the way, when you're asking for a testimonial, ask like this. Ask for a glowing and excited testimonial. Don't just say, could you just write me a quick few words? Say, could you write me a few like glowing and excited, really like, you know, inspired words about our business? And people will, they really will go the extra mile for you. Use testimonials to highlight the key benefits of your service. Okay. That is our section on testimonials. Let's go back. Okay, Joe, how you doing?
You ready for the questions?
Yep, let's do it.
Someone's just quickly, I will go back to all the following ones, but someone's just asked about how long the masterclass, a few people have actually asked about how long the masterclass takes. And obviously on your website, it says within 10 weeks.
So the masterclass it's 7 classes. If you were like really like gung-ho, you could do it in 7 weeks and get to the standard that we want you to see the transformation. To do it in less than that, I think you need more practice. I don't think it can be done in less than that personally, but very few people do it in 7 weeks. A lot of people do it within 10 weeks. A lot of people, after like 5 weeks, they've at such a good level that they've already got business, and it can end up dragging out for another year or so. We're very easygoing. That's the most important part. You do it at your own speed, but it can be done in 7 weeks.
Okay. What do you have to say about Canon 5DRS and Mark III that are not mentioned on the buying guide?
The Canon, that Canon, the DRS or whatever it is, the R or whatever, in my opinion, is a complete waste of time unless you're like a top advertising photographer who needs to like print billboards. Otherwise, absolutely useless. No, you lose the ISO and you end up with these pictures that are just like, you know, 50 to 100 megabytes. It's just useless, completely useless. My opinion of the 5D Mark IV against the 5D Mark III. I've had both cameras. Used them. I wore out a 5D Mark III. Is the 5D Mark III, in my opinion, is a better camera than the Mark IV, but you can't really get it anymore. So that's how it goes.
What's your opinion on mirrorless cameras?
Good question. So my opinion on mirrorless cameras is, after having thought about it extensively, I have seen some pictures and I think the quality of them is beautiful, maybe even a touch higher than the DSLRs, but it's basically imperceivable unless you've like me, you've looked at literally millions and millions of pictures. But what is, in my opinion, the most negative part of the mirrorless cameras is that their battery life is about half the life of the DSLRs. And in my opinion, when you're out there shooting, if your battery runs out, you would give anything for a new battery. So to compromise your battery, the length of your battery life for like, it's a little bit smaller, the flash syncs a little bit quicker, it's got a different length, like it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like you lose much more than you gain. That's my thoughts on the DSLR, on the mirrorless. So we're recommending DSLRs. Do not worry about Canon discontinuing their lenses. That your DSLRs are going to be alive for at least another 10 years at least.
Shoshana Cohen, if you're still there, hi. Do you use prime lenses?
I use two cameras. I have a prime lens. I use my 85mm, and I use my 24-70 2.8. But you definitely, if you have one lens, what we recommend is people using the Rebel or the crop frame cameras. You have 50mm 1.8. It's super cheap, but it's amazing. And then other people, if you have a full frame camera, we recommend the 85mm 1.8, which is a fantastic lens. It's also very, very inexpensive, and it's really amazing quality. It really is.
How long are your photo shoots for the family, and how many photos do you provide them?
Okay, so I shoot for an hour. And I mean, yes, the truth is though, if I don't feel I got amazing pictures within an hour, then I'll go for as long as I need. Nowadays, Baruch Hashem, I usually get what I feel I need within an hour. I would take anything between 700 to 1,100, in very rare cases, 1,200 pictures. And they would expect to see from me about 180 pictures in the full portfolio, about 60 images in the diamond selection, and a slideshow of around 30 images.
But Shmuel, you're saying up to 1,100. You are a very experienced photographer. For someone who maybe not, you'd say more than that, right? Because it sounds like a lot, but actually...
No, you shouldn't be taking more than 11. That's very rare. I take say about 800. For taking 8, but I'm now working on a level of, I'm engineering these moments with families where you, like you saw, you have to take dozens and dozens of pictures to get that perfect picture. So that's the odds to make sure you get these gorgeous pictures every single time. You have to be taking that kind of number of pictures. It is not, like my friend said, spray and pray. It is the most what's the word, intentional kind of thing. And you just delete lots of pictures.
And then to follow on from that, when you're taking lots of photos, do you keep on refocusing?
Yes, so that's a great question. So again, to engineer the focusing, to engineer the odds of the focusing, okay? If you just take a picture and you hold the shutter down and you're in drive mode and it's going click, 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 it's not refocusing unless you're in AI Servo, which we don't shoot generally. So what you should be doing is taking your finger off the button, and on, off and on, off and on, off and on. And that means the camera's going to be consistently refocusing, which means you're going to engineer the odds to make sure that you always get those pin sharp pictures.
Do you recommend Apple Max for editing?
I'm like the only person in the world, the only photographer in the world who uses PC. Like everybody says Apple's better. I use PC, so I'm cool with PC. But according to everybody, Apple is better. So I think it is as well. It definitely looks nicer. But like I said, I'm like the last person who uses,
thanks, Steve Jobs.
PC. So you use Mac?
No.
No. Okay.
What, for Word and Excel?
Yeah, exactly.
Is there any danger to a high shutter speed?
Not enough light. That's it. Not enough light. Too dark. But you can't really lose, other than the exposure. You can't lose. It's not like having a too slow a shutter speed.
Do you use Lightroom Classic, or my Lightroom looks simpler than his?
Lightroom Classic.
Okay.
Lightroom
and what's
Classic.
the best editing app?
Lightroom. We use Lightroom. We use Lightroom because Photoshop, in my opinion, although you can do amazing edits in it, we're here to make money. That's really the goal of our business, isn't it? The goal of business is to make money. And unless you've worked out a way to monetize these very fancy edits, which is very possible, and you can make a lot of money doing that, then that's great. But otherwise, it makes sense to stick, in my opinion, it makes sense to stick with Lightroom. And a lot of the time we edit mainly in Picasso anyway, because it's just a little, pardon me, a little crop here, a little bit light, a little dark. You don't even need Lightroom.
Someone's asked about how much as a beginner you can charge. I'm assuming for a family photo shoot.
Yeah, that's a good question. So my advice to you, okay, ladies, I'm going to tell you a real secret here. Where are we holding for time, Joe? We're finishing off another 5 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes. It's fine.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to reveal to you right now my secret to a successful photography business. Okay, it's in the words PST, PPSD. Okay, a lot of you guys, ladies, know this from me already because we spoke. Whenever we speak in person, I always tell you this, but this really is the foundation of your business. PPST: practice, portfolio, satisfied clients, testimonials. Okay, practice, practice, practice. You cannot get away in 2020 with being a bad photographer. Go back to the 80s, for sure you could get away with being a bad photographer. Why? Because you'd have your office, people would come to your office, they'd see a few pictures, and then they'd go to the next person's office and they'd see, or studio, they'd see their picture. They don't even remember, they just remember the kind of cookies you serve and the decor of the office and how funny you were. Whereas now you open that tab, the second tab, the third tab, and you flick back and forward between the two photographers. You cannot get away with being a sub-quality photographer. Finished. 2020, and for the past 15 years, it doesn't work like that. So practice, 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 okay? Portfolio, you need to be building a portfolio. You need to have a website with a real presence, with beautiful pictures, as many beautiful pictures as you can, okay? Satisfied clients is really the ultimate key, okay? That means forget about the money, bend over backwards for your clients. The amount of photographers who've emailed me with a long email enumerating a problem they're going through with a certain client, and this client wants me to re-edit this picture and that, and I read the email and I email them back and I say to them, how long did it take you to write that email? And they'd be like, I don't know, 20, 25 minutes. And I'd say to them, well, you know, it would have taken about 40 minutes to have done what they asked. Like, no, just do what they asked. Don't get caught up on this whole ego thing of like, oh, it's my time, and be easygoing. You create what's called raving clients, and raving clients tell their friends about you, and that's how you build your business. That's really how it's done. There's no secrets to it. It's not a, you know, it doesn't, Facebook is even in photography, Facebook is a teeny weeny little thing. It really is. It's all about client referral. And finally, testimonials. You need to prove it. You need to bug your clients for the testimonials. Now, going back to the question about how much should I charge, you really, at the beginning, you should be, it would make sense for you to pay people to take pictures for them. Not that you should do that, but it would make sense. You should be taking as many pictures as possible. If you're charging $20, $30, $40, just making sure you get the jobs, that's fantastic. If you take pictures for free, it was worth coming to the webinar just for this one piece of information. If you take pictures for somebody for free, do not do it unless they let you use their pictures. They're like, I don't want you to put my pictures anywhere. Don't take pictures for free for them. The only way you shoot for someone for free is if they let you use their pictures. That means you're getting practice, and you're getting portfolio, and you're getting satisfied clients, and you're getting testimonials. Yeah.
Lots of people were asking about you not asking permission from people to put photos and testimonials up. And I think a lot of people are saying they need to, and there was a whole discussion going on in the chat about it, as you were saying that you don't.
Yeah. So look, I did used to, and I found so many people saying no, and then I just stopped asking, and no one was upset. And then the couple of people who emailed me saying, can you take my picture down? I said, oh, I'm so sorry, and I took it down, and there was no harm done. So I figured, like, why?
But Shmuel, if you're going to put them on social media, then you'd ask their permission?
So I don't use social media. I would feel uncomfortable posting pictures on social media, yes. And also for any kind of advertising or promotional purposes, I would not dream of using somebody's picture without their permission.
Okay. What's wrong with the backlit head? I think one of your photos had from Chicago.
Oh, what was wrong with that? It was very obvious and very... Just very kind of obvious.
What program do you use when you're making your slideshow?
Okay, I use a program called ProShow Gold. They recently closed it down, and if you go to proshowgold.com, they said we closed, but we recommend another software. Really, what they did is, because ProShow Gold was a licensed software, they closed it down and they made it a monthly subscription. So that's really what they did. So I don't know what it's called anymore, but that's on PC. If you're using Mac, we recommend. Oh, it's called Photopia. Thank you, Devorah. It's called Photopia now. It's quite expensive actually. It's about $10 a month, but I think it's worth it personally. If you have a Mac, use iMovie. No need for Photopia.
Unfortunately, someone's asked. In England, in winter, obviously it's dark a lot. What do you do when you're taking photos? Because obviously it's time. Is there any, you know?
Why, unfortunately, though? Oh, because you live in England. Unlucky. I always joke that, you know, the worst thing about living in Israel is that you have to come on holiday to England. I'm just joking. I'm joking. Anyway, I'm coming to see you guys in England. What do you do? Look, when there's no light, there's no light. You have to take our Flash course. That's the only option. You have to learn how to use Flash. You really do. When it's, you know, the winter time is a real down for photography. But what I recommend is that if you do learn how to use Flash properly, because so few photographers really have mastered Flash, it will really open up a lot of avenues in your how do you say that? It opens up a lot of avenues. 1 second. Oh, excuse me. It gives you a lot of how do you say it? It gives you a one-up on your competition, that you can go to people's houses and take pictures even in the downtime of the dark winter months and the cold months. Yeah.
You've actually had a couple of questions. Someone about modesty. Someone said, what do I do if people want poses that I'm not comfortable taking? And then someone else said, if I'm taking the masterclass now. Oh, no, sorry.
So I'll answer the modest question.
Is there any joking way to ask a couple if a couple are able to touch beforehand? Yeah,
fine. That's good. Those are good questions. So what I do, as with we've got all different faith people here. So, but for the religious Jews amongst us, where we know that there's times when men and women can and can't touch, that it does pose an awkward situation. So what I do is at the beginning of the picture, I say something like, okay, guys, come close together. Just come as close as you can. And you'll see, basically, if you say come as close as you can, you've left it in their court. Just use your mind and you'll see. And if you see that they're hesitant, then you know that you're dealing with a more difficult shoot than if they go into each other. What was the other question, Joe?
No, it's the same. Do you have a class on organising your photos and what programs and how to keep track of everything?
Yeah, so we do actually. It's part of the AMP, to be honest. That's our like master, our mentorship program to really put you in business. But that's good. We'll maybe try and move that into being a standalone course.
When taking pictures of a family in front of a view of mountains and sky, do I want the sun behind me or behind my subject?
If you have Flash, if you're using Flash, which I'm assuming you're probably not, then you want the sun behind. If you don't have Flash, then you probably want the sun to be hitting their faces, and that will allow for the background to be darker, so you can make the light levels more comparable, because obviously the background's being lit by the sun. If the sun's coming from behind your subjects, then their faces are going to be in shade. Whereas if the sun is coming onto their faces, but then you get into the whole problem of messy light. It's a whole can of worms in its own right. It's a bit of an involved question.
That's an interesting one. Do you have a posing course?
Yeah, we have a posing course called Cracking the Code to Family Posing. It's a very, you've seen the idea, the way that we give over. It's a very kind of fundamental course, and it really teaches you the essence. It's not just like, okay, do this and do that. It's like the reason why and how it works. So it's a great course. It's included for free in the masterclass.
And then what happens if you have a prime lens and need to zoom?
You've got one option, which is either you walk closer or you walk further back. That's basically it.
Okay. And someone just said, if I'm taking the masterclass now, what would be the next class? I feel I need a Flash class, as I'm clueless about how to do indoor lighting, but does that go next? Is that class on sale?
Yeah,
and what does it do?
Exactly. The next class is going to be the Flash Mastery class, which is a really, really amazing class. It's really going to give you a real handle on Flash, indoor photography, and it builds on the system that we teach you in the masterclass. That is really part 2. It really is part 2. We didn't call it part 2, but maybe I should do. It really is. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on?
So I think we're going to finish. Let's finish off now. No, ask another couple of questions. That's the time's up. No.
There's a few other questions.
Okay, fine. Go for it. I'm here. Go, Joe. Go.
Do you is it better to go through the photos with someone in person afterwards and encourage them to, buy more, or just send them the link to your slideshow of photos you've taken?
That's a great question. So there's two extreme options in photography, which is either my option or basically all the other photographers in America, their option, okay? My option, I'm a big fan of no headache, okay? So I lose out on money, but I gain on no headache, which means I basically take their pictures. Also, my clients are all in America and I'm in Israel. So I basically give it all the pictures. I give them the full portfolio, 180 odd pictures, with selections, etc., and I let them make their own prints. I have the option to buy prints from me, and occasionally I get an order for a few $100s, which is great, and I smile when it happens. Most of the time I don't, and that's fine. I charge a much higher price for the session, and then I'm happy to just give the pictures and finished. In America, the other option is you give very few pictures, and then you make a lot of money out of wall art. Now, the downside to that, the upside is obviously make more money per client. The downside, there's two big downsides to that, which is number one, it's a lot of hassle, okay? It costs a lot of time, a lot of energy, and then there's a lot of problems with printing and stuff. Whenever you start dealing with physical things, it gets annoying. And number two, which I think is maybe a little more important, is you don't build the client satisfaction like you do with my system, because the client always feels that there's like a kind of antagonistic relationship between me and the photographer. He's like, or she's like holding ransom. Like, give me some, why are you charging me $1,000 for a picture? I want like a picture on my wall. And it creates a kind of animosity that isn't conducive to building your business. So my advice to you, starting off in America, is start off with in my way, because it builds it's firstly what's called a USP, which means a unique selling point that gives you a tangible advantage over the rest of your competition, because no one's doing that. And it also helps you build client satisfaction. And then once you feel that your business, you've built a real client base, then start transitioning over into the ransom model. Anyway.
Actually, a really nice a nice question to finish on. How do you know when you're ready to start charging for your photography?
Okay, so our benchmark in the AMP is after 25 shoots. Now we start talking about money. That doesn't mean you can't charge before 25 shoots, but you're only charging. It should be that no one should not take your services because it's too expensive. So we're talking like a token, $20, $30, $40, $50, that no one's going to turn down a photographer for $40 because it's too expensive. Once you've done 25 shoots, then I feel you're in the world. Then you've got a decent base for your clients to start thinking about pushing the prices up. A very important other point is, the definition that I hold by of professional, I said this to my little sister the other day, is in the worst case scenario, you're going to do an adequate job. That's when I feel, when you feel like that in the worst case scenario, you're going to do an adequate job, you are a fully fledged professional photographer. That's in my opinion.
Also, do you need to buy a lot of equipment for your flash course?
You can get away, that's a good question. You can get away with $286. The great thing about flash is it's really cheap compared to actual photography. There's two options. Either the minimum you need is just under $300, and if you want to go all out and get involved in a studio, it's something like $1,300, something like that. But we recommend the best equipment, the cheapest equipment, meaning good quality, cheap equipment. That's one of the big parts of the course, is that you can piggyback on all of my bad purchasing experiences over the years and just jump into exactly what's the best stuff.
Do you want to do a couple more questions, or you want to? You've still got 173 people, so you still get strong.
We did pretty well.
You're answering them well. Here,
one second, ladies and gentlemen, just before I'll take another couple of questions. I just wanted to mention to people that a lot of people spoke in the feedback form about my clarity of giving over and stuff. So I am more than a photographer, and I also have like a full spiritual life. And I have I just opened up a YouTube channel which I'll send you. 1 second. Copy. Oh, maybe I can do a sticky message. 1 second. Okay, that is my, if anybody's interested in not photography, but this is much more spiritual stuff, then this is my, you can go and click on here and subscribe. And I post each Monday and Thursday, a deep kind of spiritual insight if you're interested in that. Anyway, that to the side. Yeah, sorry, Joe, go on.
Are there any lenses that have a low aperture and also zoom lenses?
I think the best in that situation is about 2.8. The 2470 is the best option, but prime lenses are the way to go. Prime lenses are the way to go.
What was the name of the slideshow for Mac that you recommend?
iMovie. It's free software. It comes with the Mac. Yeah.
Do your classes have to be done in order? I.e., can you do Flash without the masterclass?
No, impossible. Flash is the next stage. You can't. It's built completely on the masterclass. Can't do it.
Do you edit all the pictures yourself? Would you ever outsource a regular family portrait photo shoot?
I thank God we're busy enough that I'm able to. I've got editors working for me. So although with Corona it all changed, but until that I never edited my own pictures. Well, not never at the beginning, of course I did, but it's very problematic outsourcing editing to people. Very problematic for lots of reasons. Things like you've got resources like Upwork and stuff like that, but from my experiences and from lots of friends of mine who are professional photographers, it nearly always doesn't work out very well. If I were you, I wouldn't be thinking about outsourcing editing until you're at least shooting, 4 or 5 jobs a week. When you start getting to 4 or 5 jobs a week, then you can start thinking about trying to make a relationship, probably with someone who's local, and training them up. It's the long road that's the short road. But until you get to that point when you get really busy, I would suggest that the idea is to try and minimize the time as opposed to outsource. Try and streamline your process.
Okay. How long should it take from a shoot to delivery date for your clients?
Minus 3 days. The quicker the better. The quicker the better. Yeah. Every extra day. Firstly, never, ever, ever, ever miss a deadline. Ever. And always exceed the deadline. Never miss a deadline, very rarely hit a deadline, and always aim to, under promise and over deliver. Although I heard a nice one the other day from some advertising guru, over promise and over deliver. But otherwise, never ever miss a deadline. Make sure it would be better to deliver the pictures in 3 weeks, giving yourself 4 weeks, than to deliver them in 2 weeks, having given yourself 1 week. Much better.
What do you think of watermarks?
I like Jacob's question.
Which was that? There's a few.
Anyway, watermarks. Fine. If you use SmugMug, the problem with watermarks is when people want to print pictures, they can't print them. So that may be why you want to do that. So that's fine. But like I said, the customer satisfaction is such an important thing of it. And when you start holding the pictures, you kind of give in on that a little bit. Not that you're not allowed to do that, for sure you can. This is just my opinion, my system.
Is your flash course mainly for indoor photography?
It's flash, which means we're teaching you on such a deep level that you will be able to apply indoors, outdoors, and if there's any other kind of options, I don't know. But basically, you'll understand flash, so you could use it for what you want. But you'll be able to do it indoors and outdoors. Yeah, they're two very important. I never shoot without a flash, outdoors as well or indoors.
And the question that everyone wants to know: how much do you charge for your AMP course?
We have to be in touch with me about that.
Yeah, a lot of questions about it.
Yeah. Okay.
And a few of your students that have done it have said that it's invite only. So.
That's true as well. That is true. We don't. The reason why the AMP is invite only is because it is expensive, and we are absolutely intent on making sure that you're absolutely successful. If we don't feel that you can be 1,000,000% successful, then we won't invite you to it. But the only chance of getting into the AMP anyway is by going through the masterclass. The AMP, basically, we build you your business, we design you your logos, we teach you the finances, we give you the email templates, we teach you how to organize your pictures, how to store your pictures, how to present your pictures. We teach you how to take better pictures, flash, on location, off location, in location, whatever you want. It's the whole package.
Someone's just said, what's outsource company do you recommend? And I think you want to be clear, you don't actually recommend it, but you've got staff that work with you and have trained with you that do your editing. I think you just want to make that clear, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting if people are really needing editors. If I got a bunch of photographers who are interested, it could be we could set something up with one of the people that I know and put them into business. Not through me, I wouldn't get involved in that. But if maybe be in touch with Rivka, info@zerotopro.online if you're interested in an editor, and it wouldn't be such a big deal to get that off the ground. Could be helpful for somebody here. Yeah.
Oh, someone says, can we have another webinar? That is a very nice
We
comment.
are going to do this. I'm amazed that we still have 156 people here. This has been fantastic. And Joe, it's been so nice doing this with you as well, I should tell you.
I know.
It's been absolutely lovely. We are going to do it, B'ezrat Hashem, in 2 weeks' time. We will keep you on our email list and we will let you know. And we'd love to see you here again. Fantastic. I think it went really well. Baruch Hashem.
And obviously all feedback is greatly appreciated, and topics that people would like to discuss. It looks like lenses is quite a hot topic.
What?
Lenses, quite a hot topic. Lenses.
Sure. Okay, we're going to send out forms for you to fill in your thoughts about this, and we'll try and make it as best. Yeah, want to make everything perfect, so make it better and better. But thank you for joining us, Joe. Thank you for being fantastic, as you always are, and taking the time out to help us with this. You really did this. And everybody, thank you for being here with us. And please God, we will see you in a couple of weeks. Okay. God bless.